The familiar roar of jet engines once echoing across the Boeing St. Louis plant has faded into an unmistakable silence. In its place, the determined chants and rhythmic footsteps of striking workers now fill the air, echoing off the factory walls and out into the city beyond. On a humid August morning, nearly 5,000 machinists, electricians, and assembly mechanics made a bold decision. They walked off the job together, halting the production lines of the legendary F-15 Eagle, the F/A-18 Super Hornet, and other critical military aircraft. The sudden stoppage sent shockwaves through the defense industry, as the assembly lines, normally a hive of activity, fell eerily quiet. Their picket lines now stretch far beyond the main St. Louis plant, reaching into satellite facilities across Missouri and Illinois. The strike's impact ripples outward, affecting not just Boeing, but the entire network of suppliers and communities that depend on these jobs. This walkout comes after weeks of tense negotiations, late-night meetings, and mounting frustration. Union members overwhelmingly rejected Boeing's so-called final offer, feeling it fell short of their expectations for fair treatment and security. Workers argue that while Boeing has reported record corporate profits, those gains haven't translated into better wages, benefits, or working conditions for the people who build the planes. Many feel left behind, watching executive bonuses soar as their own paychecks stagnate. On the picket lines, generations of families, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters, stand shoulder to shoulder. These are the people who have built America's air power for decades, now united in their demand for respect, fair compensation, and a meaningful share in the company's success. Inside the plant, the silence is profound. Rows of unfinished jets sit idle, a stark reminder that even the most advanced technology is powerless without the skilled hands and dedication of the workers who bring it to life. This walkout is more than just a contract dispute, it's a pivotal moment for Boeing and a defining test for the American labor movement. The outcome will set a precedent for workers across the country as unions grow more assertive in their demands. For Boeing, the stakes are high. Vital defense contracts, billions of dollars in revenue, and the company's reputation as a cornerstone of American manufacturing all hang in the balance. For the union, this is a fight for dignity, for a secure middle-class future, and for the right to be heard and valued in the workplace. It's about ensuring that the people who build America's might are not left behind. The world is watching as one of America's most important manufacturing hubs grinds to a halt. News crews gather, and the eyes of the nation turn to St. Louis, waiting to see what will happen next. The outcome of this standoff could shift the balance of power between corporations and workers, shaping the future of American industry in a new era of labor activism. The silence on the F-15 line is more than a pause, it's the sound of history in the making. At the heart of the strike are demands for fair pay, secure benefits, and dignity on the job. Workers say Boeing's proposed raises don't keep up with inflation, while healthcare costs are rising and retirement security is eroding. The union rejects Boeing's push to shift new hires to 401(k)s, calling it a threat to the next generation's stability. A pension is a promise, says one veteran. A 401(k) is a gamble. For many, a small raise is meaningless if medical bills wipe it out. The fight is about more than money. It's about respect and being valued as essential partners, not just costs to be managed. Workers want a contract that recognizes their skill and their role in national defense. They're striking for a seat at the table, not just scraps from it. This is a battle to preserve the American dream for those who build it. This strike is the latest in a long, tense history between Boeing and its workforce. Past walkouts like the 2008 IAM strike crippled production and cost billions, proof these issues are never far from the surface. Boeing's recent safety scandals, from the 737 MAX crashes to Dreamliner flaws, have only deepened worker mistrust. The union links fair contracts to quality and safety, arguing that respected, experienced workers are the first defense against costly mistakes. For strikers, this isn't just about pay, it's about ensuring the planes they build are worthy of trust. The strike's impact ripples far beyond St. Louis, threatening not only the city's economy, but also U.S. military readiness and Boeing's financial health. What began as a local labor dispute has quickly escalated into a national concern, with consequences that could be felt across the entire defense sector. Delays in FA-18 and F-15 production could disrupt pilot training schedules, slow down essential fleet upgrades for the Pentagon, and even affect the operational capabilities of key U.S. allies. These advanced jets are critical for maintaining air superiority, and any interruption in their delivery could have far-reaching effects on national security. Boeing's Defense Division, a $26 billion revenue pillar, now faces mounting penalties for late deliveries and risks its hard-earned reputation as a reliable partner to the U.S. government and allied nations. The pressure is on to resolve the strike before long-term damage is done. With global tensions high and security alliances more important than ever, allies like Israel, Japan, and Australia are watching closely. Delays could have diplomatic consequences, straining relationships and raising questions about future cooperation. The strike also threatens a vast network of suppliers, from small machine shops to major component manufacturers, risking layoffs and financial distress across the aerospace industry. These suppliers depend on Boeing's steady orders to keep their own operations running. Every day the lines are silent, the economic damage grows. Idle machinery and empty workstations mean lost wages for workers and lost revenue for businesses up and down the supply chain. The interconnected nature of modern manufacturing means a shutdown in St. Louis can quickly cascade nationwide, disrupting logistics, halting shipments, and causing ripple effects that reach far beyond Missouri. For Boeing, the stakes are enormous: lost revenue, lost contracts, and lost trust from both customers and investors. The company's leadership faces mounting pressure to find a resolution and restore confidence in its ability to deliver. For the union, this leverage is their strongest card. Workers know that their skills and labor are essential, and they're determined to secure better terms, even as the world watches. The outcome will shape not just Boeing's future, but the entire defense supply chain, influencing jobs, military readiness, and the global aerospace market for years to come. The world is watching and waiting as the next chapter in this high-stakes standoff unfolds. For the union, this strike is more than just a temporary work stoppage. It's a fight for fairness, dignity, and the very future of the American middle class. The workers see themselves as standing on the front lines of a much larger battle, one that will determine whether hard work is still rewarded in this country, and whether the next generation will have the same opportunities as those before them. IM leaders highlight deeply personal stories. Veterans struggling to afford college tuition for their children, young workers unable to buy homes despite years of service, and families making tough choices just to get by. These stories aren't just statistics, they're real lives, and they show what's truly at stake if the union's demands aren't met. Their demands are clear and urgent: maintain living standards, ensure Boeing jobs remain family-sustaining, and invest in the workforce to guarantee long-term quality and innovation. They want to protect not just their own livelihoods but the integrity of American manufacturing itself. Union leaders argue that skilled machinists are a national asset, essential to both economic strength and national security. Devaluing these jobs, they warn, threatens not only the workers' futures, but also the reliability and safety of the products that keep the country safe. You can't build a 21st century fighter jet with a 20th century wage, says one picket captain, capturing the frustration and determination felt by many on the line. The workers believe that fair compensation is not just about pay, it's about respect for their expertise and the critical role they play. The union is buoyed by a national wave of labor activism and high public support. Across the country, more Americans are recognizing the importance of strong unions and the need for fair labor practices, giving these workers a sense of hope and momentum. They see their fight as part of a broader movement to rebalance power between capital and labor, to ensure that workers everywhere have a voice and a fair share in the prosperity they help create. With solidarity, determination, and growing public backing, they're more resolved than ever to hold the line. The sense of unity among the workers is palpable, and it fuels their resolve to keep pushing forward. For them, this is about more than a contract. It's about respect, security, and the future of American industry. It's about making sure that the values of hard work, craftsmanship, and community are preserved for generations to come. They won't back down easily. Their stand is a message to the nation. The fight for fair work and a better future is far from over. Boeing's management frames the strike as a threat to competitiveness and future jobs. The company insists its offer, 12% raises over 3 years, strong healthcare, and a 401k match, is fair and market-leading. Boeing argues it must control labor costs to win contracts and keep St. Louis viable for future work. Executives highlight the value of their total compensation package and say moving away from pensions is a prudent business decision. After the 737 MAX crisis, Boeing faces pressure to show fiscal discipline and stability. Management is betting it can outlast the union, hoping financial strain will bring workers back to the table. For Boeing, giving in too easily could hurt its stock price and future prospects. The company is playing a high-stakes waiting game. The strike's effects reach far beyond U.S. borders, shaking global defense alliances. F-15S and F/A-18S built in St. Louis are vital to the security of allies in the Middle East and Asia. Delays could force partners to keep aging jets flying or consider rival suppliers, undermining U.S. influence. A bottleneck in St. Louis can disrupt maintenance and readiness worldwide, highlighting the unseen power of American factory workers. America's competitors are watching, ready to exploit any sign of weakness or unreliability. The strike could give rivals time to catch up technologically and erode U.S. dominance. In the high-stakes world of global security, production timelines matter as much as technology. The picket line in Missouri can ground jets thousands of miles away. This is a self-inflicted wound America's rivals are eager to exploit. The world is watching, and so are America's adversaries. As the strike stretches on, pressure mounts for everyone. Workers face financial hardship as strike pay falls short, testing their unity. Boeing's losses grow, missed deliveries, supply chain chaos, and investor anxiety. The Pentagon and international customers may lose patience, risking future contracts. If the stalemate persists, the government could intervene, even invoking the Taft-Hartley Act to force a temporary end. In the end, a bitter compromise is likely, with both sides bruised and the damage already done. The question, how much will be lost before a deal is reached? The 2025 Boeing strike is more than a contract fight. It's a turning point for American industry and labor. It pits a global corporation's drive for efficiency against workers' fight for dignity and a fair share. The outcome could inspire a new wave of labor activism or reinforce corporate dominance. For Boeing, the crisis tests its values and its relationship with its most vital asset, its people. For workers, it's a stand for the American dream in an era of uncertainty. The silent assembly lines in St. Louis force a national conversation. What truly secures our future, machines or the people who build them? The answer will shape the next chapter of American manufacturing and shared prosperity. The world is watching to see which path we choose.